Sully jumps up, pulls a shank from the back of his pants, and sticks the kid right in the shoulder with the fucking shank. Shakes him right there at the table in the yard. Don't sit down at card tables with people that you don't know. Okay.
Hi, boss.
Hello, P. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to Time the Podcast. I'm Boss, and I'm here with my co-producer slash publicist slash friend of the world, Paula Parrish.
Publicist. Yeah. Hi. Welcome to Time the Podcast. This is where we talk about prison, inside and out, and why people come out more damaged than when they went in.
Yeah, true. And it's absolutely true.
You're sitting here in a hospital gown. That's
Okay.
what we got to talk about.
Let's talk about the death of my friend Rocky. So everyone knows that I have a Harley Davidson. This one happens to have race cams, race gears. It's built. So my Harley Davidson got murdered. I mean, that hurts me more than me. As for me, I got some bruises and some cuts. I got a broken left shoulder and some nerve damage to go along with it. I was knocked out. I was a little confused. I didn't know where I was at. I woke up and there was a bunch of people standing around me. I jumped up, ran over to the bike, turned it off, tried to pick it up, and discovered that my arm was broke. I couldn't pick it up.
Oh my God.
So that hurt really bad. And then I talked to a couple other guys, talked them into helping me pick it up. So I said, yeah, that fucking dude didn't even stop, man. Call the cops. I'm like, no, please don't call the cops. Nobody call the cops. I'm fine. I don't want any police. Please don't call the cops. Because, you know, that's police contact. So I'm like, no, do not call the cops, you know, which is kind of foolish. But they were like, well, what do you mean don't call the police? You know, look at your bike, your insurance and all that. And I said, no, don't call the police. Don't worry about it. The bike's not insured. It's only insured for, you know, if I run into somebody, the bike's 31 years old. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it. So gathered up the parts that were broken off of it. I gathered up the parts.
You must have been running around in shock.
Yeah, I think I was running on pure adrenaline because I was hurt. I was hurt really bad. Bleeding from road rash and stuff. So I picked up all the parts and stacked them all in a neat pile. And this all came back to me later. I didn't remember it at the time. Got the bike started. The front wheel wouldn't turn. It's so warped. So I got the bike started and I kicked on the front wheel until I got it straight enough to turn.
Maybe that's why your toe is broken.
Yeah, maybe that's why my toe's broken. Yeah, and then there's no front controls, no forward controls, no front brake. It's all broke off. Handlebars are bent. But I was able to get the bike running, shift it into first gear, and slowly, with that wheel rubbing the forks on each side, get it back to where I parked it, a block or two, about 2 blocks away. Park it, lock it up. Get in my car, drive back to where the wreck was, pick up the parts that I gathered.
You did that?
Put them in the back of the car where they are right now. I guess it's self-preservation because I was protecting myself the whole time. If you look at it and pick it apart, right? Really all I'm doing is protecting myself. But that's how my mind works, P. If I had to get the bike off the street where the accident was, clean up the street so there's no obvious accident, get the bike home, get in the car, got to get to the hospital. Drove myself to urgent care, parked the car in a place where it wouldn't be towed. Walked over to urgent care and said, I think I've been in an accident. I couldn't remember exactly what had happened. When I got there, I was confused. So I was 31 hours plus in the emergency room. Just got out. I've still got this hospital gown on because they cut my clothes off me. So it has not been a good week for me. And now I'm facing some real struggles. I can't work.
Once I realized you came to and you had texted me and I wasn't so worried about you, my second thought was, holy shit, they're going to give him morphine.
They did.
Okay, so tell me about that.
That was the best dope high I had in a long time.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
so wait, when they said, did they say, do you want morphine? And did you give it a second thought? Or did you think like, I'm an addict, I shouldn't, or were you just like, I fucking need this? They
said, we're going to give you morphine for the pain, and I knew exactly at that moment that I needed that morphine for the pain because I was really, really fucking hurting. But but when they said, we're going to give you a shot of morphine for the pain, it never crossed my mind that I shouldn't do this because I'm an ex-addict, because I know my mind is set up. My mind is made. I will never use recreational drugs again, ever. So I knew I'm safe with that.
Had you ever had an opiate intravenously like that?
Yeah.
Did you do needles with heroin before?
No, I never shot up drugs like that. I never shot drugs myself, but I've been beaten. I've been stabbed.
So at the many hospitals?
Yeah, so many hospitals I would get them. Sometimes I would get when I got stabbed and my appendix got exploded.
Oh, what? That's another time?
Yeah. So
not the ice pick time?
No. They stabbed me right between where the small intestine joins the large intestine. That's right where the appendix hangs off. They severed the appendix, so all that poison and shit went inside me.
Oh.
So they had to open me up and clean me out and do all that. So they were hitting me with morphine there. So, I had a morphine drip at the time for that.
Where and when was that?
Comstock. I don't remember the year, but it was Comstock.
Oh my God.
Gladiator school. Yeah, so whatever, right? So
Are you gonna tell that story sometime, or do you not want to?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, we can tell it. I mean, we can tell it's violent, but that's the thing, right?
You want to hear what we're going to talk about tonight?
Yes, I am excited.
We are going to talk about Mad Dog Sully.
Ah,
you've said this name several times now.
Yes, Mad Dog.
We got to hear about who is this guy? Who's Mad Dog Sully?
So Mad Dog Sully purportedly was a hitman for the I believe it was a Gambino family. So he was a button man is what it was. So
what's a button man?
Okay, so a button man is a guy that gets hired to push a guy's button, and when you push a guy's button, you turn him off. So he was a hired killer, a hired hitman, and Mad Dog Sully was one of the most notorious, probably the most feared man in the New York State correctional facilities in the whole system. Very intelligent guy, super arrogant, super dangerous. He's the only guy that ever escaped from the Attica Correctional Facility. In the history of that prison, he's the only man to ever escape from that prison. I've seen him firsthand do some really off-the-wall shit. You just never knew what the fuck he was gonna do, in any given situation. You just never knew.
How did you meet him?
I met him in Auburn. In Auburn, they had courts, and each court had a person in charge of the court, and we were racially segregated at this time, and I was in charge of the bikers court. So, and you get it through attrition. I mean, it's not like something that's awarded to you. You get it if you're a stand-up guy. You get it because you're the longest guy there. It kind of becomes your responsibility whether you want it or not, because if you don't hold on to that court when your crew leaves or people start to leave, if you can't hold that court, then you're a bitch. You don't deserve to be in the yard, because courts are coveted things, as you can imagine. Not everyone has a court. There's only so many of them. So when it comes your turn, you either step down and give it to someone else who can hold it, or you step up and hold it. But anyway, so
I'm trying to picture this. So is it in the yard? You're saying courts, like how you described the junkyard at Clinton, or is this?
Yeah, okay, so I can describe it. It's the same thing, but it's not in tiers. All right, so let's say you have a shoebox. The yard in Auburn, there's 2 yards, and they're both rectangular, exactly like that. And they're behind this 40-foot wall. So you're looking at inside of this box. Now you're going to take Scrabble tiles. So you're going to set a Scrabble tile down in the corner with 1/8 of an inch clearance all the way around it on all 4 sides. Goddamn chimpanzee. So it's a forest out there. It's a jungle. So you've got this tile sitting in the corner of the box, and you've got, say, 1/8 of an inch clearance, because you can't get, you can't be on the wall on the 2 sides that touch the wall. So you got that clearance, and then you're going to take another tile and set that right next to it with the same clearance. Another tile and set that right next to it with the same clearance, and you're going to do that in that whole one corner of the box. The rest of it is handball courts, workout space, cops' booths, that kind of thing. But if you can picture those tiles laid together like that, kind of like an ashtray, those are courts. Each tile represents a court.
So what's dividing them?
So what's dividing them is your benches and your chairs. So you have park benches, and these park benches, you have taken from wherever they were originally. You know, over the years, other guys have just taken these benches, and you've built a wall with these benches. You just set them up end to end, and that marks your area. You leave one bench out, that's your entrance and your exit. The rest of the benches have you closed off on all those four sides. So your court is closed off with benches. Next guy moves in next to you, he's already got one wall. He puts up his walls. Next guy moves in, he's already got a wall. He puts up his walls, and that's how the courts.
And you guys can move your walls and create them?
No, because that's a battle zone. No, your court is as big as it's going to get when you get it, and they're not all the same size. Some courts are 2 courts, 3 courts, where over the years guys have taken over other guys' courts. You know, so it's a turf war.
And the COs just allow this to happen. There's no regulation.
They don't have a choice, man. There's way too many lifers in Auburn for the COs to get involved in something like that. They are not getting involved in that shit. No. Yeah.
So this is nuts. Inmates created this. These sectioned off areas.
Inmates created the whole society inside. You see, it's systemic, right? It's a stronger than you community. I'm stronger than you, so I get 2 places to sit. Yeah, but I'm stronger than you, so I get 3 places to sit. You only got 1 ass, motherfucker. Why do you need 3 chairs? Right? But that's the society in prison. It's a stronger than you society. So prisoners have created the entire society inside, and the COs just go along to get along. They get involved when they have to.
And Mad Dog Sully was in that crew?
No, Sully had his own court right across from ours against the wall. So he was probably 30 feet away. It was his court. He had all the Goombas. His was the Goomba court.
What does that mean?
All the made men, all the Italians, the pretty boys, that was his. Whenever there was politics going on, the shot callers and the guys running the courts or involved in that would get together and sit down on one of the courts and talk, you know, figure out what was going to be done. So a lot of times we would go to Sully's court because it had 2 walls that blocked us from the COs. I mean, the tower was up in the right-hand corner so they could see us anyway, but it's still just a sense of, you know, we're in this corner, so false security, right? So a lot of times we would go to Sully's court and talk, but I used to play a lot of pinochle with Sully. I wouldn't play cutthroat with him because he was just, if you beat him, he was so fucking mad. He could not lose, man. He was such a bad loser. One of the most violent things that I ever seen him do was we were playing pinochle. And I had Tommy O'Sullivan as a partner, and Mad Dog had this new kid as a partner. The guy had just got into the jail. You know, he just came in and all that. And you could tell that he really didn't know how to play pinochle. But me and Tommy and Mad Dog, we're playing for money. So... And me and Tommy were great at this game as partners. Tommy O'Sullivan ran the Westies. He was the guy who ran the Westies in New York City. So, very good friend of mine. So, me and Tommy O'Sullivan are playing as partners, sitting across from each other. Mad Dog sitting on my right, the new kid sitting on my left. So, we're playing and Sully's getting madder and madder. Because this guy just keeps fucking up the game, and me and Tommy are just taking his money. Telling him, what's up, asshole? Want to bet some more? Come on, put some more on the table. You got fucking money, let's go. You know, so we got packs of cigarettes piled up. So we're taking all of his fucking cigarettes. He's had to go to his locker twice on the court and get cigarettes, you know. So we're cleaning him out because this kid don't know how to, he's jumping out the window. We call it jumping out the window without a parachute. This dude's committing suicide, right? So Sully says to him, motherfucker, if you jump out the window one more fucking time, I'm going to stab you. So me and Tommy are laughing, you know, like, hey, fuck you, you ain't stabbing nobody. Shut the fuck up, it's a game, right? That tough guy thing, right? But the reality is, Mad Dog was tougher than any of us. So we're like, shut up, it's a fucking game. Meanwhile, we got all of his cigarettes and we're smoking his cigarettes, right? So this kid does it again. The kid jumps out the window and they lose. Don't make their books. Get stuck. Sully jumps up, pulls a shank from the back of his pants, and sticks the kid right in the shoulder with the fucking shank. Shanks him right there at the table in the yard in the shoulder for jumping out the window in a pinochle game. So,
wow.
Yeah. Kid was yelling and hopping around and shit. Me and Tommy grabbed the kid. So, oh, come here, man. Let's, you know, we doctored him ourselves, sewed him up. So listen, you know, keep your shirt on. You can't, you know, if you tell the COs that this happened to you, you're going to PC and your bid's over, man. You know, just suck it up. Stay the fuck away from Sully. Don't sit down at card tables with people that you don't know. You know, that's a lesson for him.
Yeah. Damn.
But that's the threat in prison, right? Getting shanked. That is the threat. To get stuck. That's what you call it, getting stuck. That is the threat. So there was this CO that was fucking with Sully's girlfriend or Sully's wife in the visiting room. I'm not sure which one at this point. Every time Sully's girlfriend or wife would come in, he would do stuff to her like, oh, you know, oh, you're ringing on the metal detector, you're ringing on the metal detector, take your bra off, take your bra. And he'd make her take her bra off because it's under wire or something, you know, and he'd frisk her and they'd put her in a room and they would just detain/abuse her, you know, for whatever reason. And Sully got fucking tired of it, you know, and he said, I'm killing this motherfucker. He said, that's it, he's done today. And I'm like, Sully, hold up, stop a second, let's talk about this, man. He says, nah, fuck that. He's done today, I'm killing that motherfucker. And he started getting his shit in order. So I knew he was serious. I mean, he started handing his property to different guys, hold this for me till I get back, hold this for me, because you know the cop's gonna throw all his shit out. So he started handing off his property, and that's when I said, oh, no, I got to do something about this. I got to step up, you know. So what I did is he was locking in E block at the time, and I was in A block. So I told the cop on my company, I'm trying to remember his name, but it doesn't matter. I can't remember the cop's name, but I told him, listen, I need to get out first for the yard tonight. And he looks at me kind of funny. He goes, yeah? Why you need to get out first? And I said, listen, I can't tell you that. All I can tell you is, if you want to, you can frisk me before I leave. I'm not going to hurt anybody, but I'm going to stop something. And that's all I can tell you. If you don't want to let me out, then I can't do it. But it's really fucking important. He goes, oh yeah? One of yours or one of ours? I said, one of yours. He said, okay. And you're going to stop something? I said, absolutely, you have my word. And I'd been on that company about 4 years, so he knew me. Dutchman, that's his name, Hank Dutchman. So he knew me. So he let me out first for the yard that night. So as soon as the bell rang for the yard, my door opened, down the stairs I went, across the yard to the other block, went up his block to his cell, and he was standing in his cell getting ready to go to the yard, and I closed his door. I locked his door. And he was so fucking mad.
With him inside and
Yes.
you outside?
Yes, I
Holy
locked him
fuck,
in.
that's a bold thing to do.
I didn't know what else to do. I mean, I didn't plan to do that. But when I walked up to his cell to stop this thing, his property was gone. You know what I mean? He had given his stuff out. Hold this for me till I get back. And when I seen that, it was real. You know what I mean? He was going to kill this fucking CO. I just closed his door. Now, once your door's closed, the cop's not reopening it. Forget it, man. He opened it once. He ain't fucking opening it again. You know? So I closed his door, and he's fucking screaming, yelling, talking, I'm gonna kill you, you motherfucker. You're gonna get it just like he did. And he's in my face. You'll see, motherfucker. You know who the fuck you think you are. And I mean, he was really fucking mad at me, super fucking mad at me, you know. So he's yelling and screaming, and everybody's gone to the yard, and he's still fucking yelling at me, selling me wolf tickets and shit. And the CO comes down and makes his rounds. He goes, what are you doing on my company? You don't even fucking lock here. What's going on here? And I go, listen, man, I'm just trying to talk to Sully. Now, everybody knows Sully. I said, I'm just trying to talk to Sully, man, and put the stop on something, you know? He goes, all right. He says, I'll give you 10 minutes. Good. Okay. So he goes away, and I'm talking to Sully. I said, listen, man, I fucking hate me if you want to, but I'm not going to let you fucking kill this CO. I said, what the fuck, then what? Then you're in the box for the next 15 years, bro. None of us can be friends. None of us can we can't do anything anymore, you know? So you want to be in the box for 15 years? Because that's what you're going to get. You know it and I know it. You're going to spend the next 15 fucking years in the box. You know, and I'm talking to him, and I see him starting to calm down and cool down, and he finally says, all right, man, you're right. I go, okay, we good? You're not going to fucking murder me, right? He goes, no, we're good. He says, you have my word. We're good. Thanks for that. The cop comes back up to the company, and he goes, what's up? I said, we're good, man. Let us go to the yard. So he cracked his cell, and we went to the yard, and that was the end of it. We were good.
Wow. So, was he at Auburn the entire time that you were there?
I want to say yeah, but for some reason, my mind's saying he got transferred. I kind of remember that he stabbed Pontiac and got transferred out. I don't know why they called him Pontiac, but he was this New York City kid that was in Sully's crew.
Stabbed people in his own crew?
Yeah, I mean, now listen, that's not uncommon, because it falls on you to take care of your own. So here's the two rules. Each one teach one. and take care of your own. That's the 2 crew rules right there. You're responsible for your own.
Okay, wow. So that's fucked up and dark.
Well, would you rather have someone outside your crew attacking your crew? Because now you got to do something because someone outside of your crew attacked your crew. You see what I'm saying? So you have to take care of your own. Otherwise, it's a free-for-all. So if someone from another crew wants to sit down, another shot caller wants to sit down from another crew to talk about what some other crew member in his did to you, one of your crew members did to him or to someone in his crew, then you have to sit down and talk about that, and you'll discuss what it was and how bad it was or how it happened. You'll do the investigation and you'll figure it out. And then you two, the two together, you'll decide what's going to satisfy this other crew so that we don't have crew wars, so that we don't have riots in the fucking yard because some scumbag stole a pack of cigarettes or something, some scumbag didn't pay a drug deal, or you know what I mean? So you have to figure that shit out, and then you have to take care of and discipline your own guy because you don't want the other crew doing it. Now sometimes it's such a bad fucking thing, like maybe somebody in your crew turns out to be a scumbag, maybe he's been lying in wait for 2 or 3 years, but he tries to rape somebody. Something like that happens. In that situation, you turn him over to the other crew. You say, you do what you got to do, man. He knows it's coming. Just don't do him on our court. That's the rule. And now he's got to handle his own shit. He's on his own because he did that scumbag shit.
All right. Status update.
Ooh, status update. Where do we start, man?
We didn't do your week before status update because it was just so hardcore.
The one that I canceled?
So we never did that status
Week
update.
before last. No, we didn't do it because I wasn't capable. Yeah.
Therapy, you canceled it last week.
I canceled therapy because I canceled my new life. I didn't cancel therapy because it was therapy. I canceled therapy because I had my suit on. That's why I canceled therapy. I was finished with New York and everything and everybody in it. That's why I canceled my therapy. I was just super, super dark, super, super angry, and I canceled my life because I was leaving New York and everything in it. Every person, I was never going to talk to another person here. I was gone.
Your therapist called you because you had canceled your appointment with him, right?
Yeah, he called me to check on me. He said, you know, what's going on? I mean, he says, I know you don't want to have therapy and that's fine, but, you know, do you want to talk? What's going on? Are you all right? You know? And I couldn't talk. I couldn't stop crying. I was in my ball again. I was curled up in my little ball. I could not stop crying. I tried. I wanted to talk to the guy. I could not function. I could not talk. I just couldn't. And I had no fucking control, man. It was the cloud again, you know? It came right back. And I gave up. I gave up on this life. I just said, you know what? I don't want any of this fucking shit. I'm out of here. I don't know if I told you this. I called the car dealership. Told them I'm bringing the car. Where do you want it? You know. They said I couldn't bring it. I have to talk to the finance company, you know, and all that. So I called the finance company and got a recording and just said, fuck it. Hung the phone up and just decided I'd just park it at the fucking dealership. And if they didn't want it, they could deal with it however the fuck they wanted to. I called my parole officer and asked for a meeting so that I could tell them I'm leaving, I'm out of here. And if they said no, I was going anyway. So I was going to just go. So that's where I was at. That was status report for 2 weeks ago, or that day. I quit. I gave up.
Life's a fucking roller coaster.
It is. Life is a roller coaster.
Your highs are very high and your lows are very, very low. Do you realize that?
I do.
Scary high, scary low.
I'm not afraid of the highs. I love the highs. Because I'm living. You know, I didn't get to live. I haven't allowed myself to live, right? I haven't been allowed to live. I've hidden my whole fucking life. Since I was 20 years old, I've been hiding, you know? It's like the can is me and there's the suit, man. You know? That's been my whole life. Once in a while, I could peek around the suit, right? So when I got to a certain level 3 weeks ago, I was so content with the life I had planned to have. I was super content. I was good. And that got shattered. You know, life happens, right? I just didn't want any more to do with it. I didn't want any more to do with this whole fucking parole, New York, the people in it. I didn't want anything to do with any of this, and I had made a decision to go. But my heart wouldn't go. My mind was made up, but my heart wouldn't go. And that's why I think I was balled up, and I couldn't talk, and I couldn't, because my heart just wasn't letting me go. My heart was, no. This is your life. You need to fix this. That's my heart. My brain's going, what are you, fucking stupid? You know? But my heart's saying, no, you have to understand. You're not the only one here. You're not the only consideration. You know, and that's my heart talking, you know, and in the end...
It's funny, your heart was saying this, what your brain should have been saying. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
your heart was the rational one going...
But the suit's not rational.
Yeah.
So the suit was I had the suit on. I put the suit on. I was finished with New York. I was finished with people telling me what to do. I was finished with motherfuckers making promises and breaking them. I was done. Finished. Out of here. But my heart wouldn't allow it. My heart was like, no, we're not putting this fucking suit back on. Fuck you. Take that suit off. Get it together. You know? This is your family. Get this together. Fix this. But yeah, so I didn't cancel therapy. I canceled my life. Yeah.
Then you stayed and then you fixed it.
I stayed and I fixed it. The person who broke it helped me to fix it because...
Maybe it was you who broke it.
Okay, I'll go with that.
You say the person who broke it, but I'm sure you pressured that person, man. I know you.
Yeah, it was me. It was me. I did it.
I know the story.
Yes, you do know the story. It was me. You're right. I have to say that. I own that because I owned it before when I fixed it.
He's having sex with his parole officer. Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. So
it's not Gonzalez.
So yeah.
She's not even around anymore, is she?
No. But you're right. It was me. I did it. Which kind of segues into the status report for now, right?
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's get out of the dark. Let's go to the status report for now.
All right. This one involves me, I think.
Everything in my life involves you. So, yes, this involves you. I mean, you're my best friend. If I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the fucking wall. So, yeah, it involves you. Why don't you talk for a minute? Why don't you tell a little bit?
Because this is not my story.
But you witness it firsthand.
Yeah, so I feel like you're used to having everything your way and immediately when you want it because of who you were on the inside. So I feel like you put a lot of unwritten demands on friends and family. And when somebody, and because of that, you wind up repeatedly disappointed by me and us. And I feel like it's not easy for you to see someone else's side of the situation because you were alone for so many years. But I feel like we're figuring it out, and I'm learning how to be a better friend to you, and you're learning how to be a better friend to me. And all of your other friends, really.
So, I had a long talk with my psychologist this time, and he told me that, and he was so right. I mean, he I guess, you know, when I told you about this before, I used the example of peeling back layers on a head of lettuce, right? So, or you could, you know, peeling back layers on an onion even would be the same thing, right? But so he took me back to my childhood without taking me back to my childhood. He didn't say, let's go back to your childhood. He said, tell me what's going on. Last week you were broke. Today you sound a little more rational. What happened? Tell me what happened. And I told him that someone who I cherish changed the game plan on me. We had, because I felt, well, like I said, I felt betrayed. And I told him the whole story. And he started picking me apart, a little at a time. He'd say, well, when you were a child, did this happen? And I say, yeah, how do you know that? He'd say, doesn't matter how I know it. And then you did this, this, and this, didn't you? And he was absolutely on point. He knew exactly the steps I had taken when this, or this happened. One example is one time when I think I must have been 7, because I was a 2nd or 3rd grader. My dad had bought a new car. And I was always crashing my bicycle, doing jumps and all kinds of stuff, you know. And I had worn the end grips off the handlebars. So it had grips on it, but there was no ends on them, right? And so it was just a handlebar sticking out. And I drove past his new car, and I lost control of the bike, and I scratched the car with the handlebars. He came off the porch, picked me and the bicycle up over his head, and slammed us down on the concrete. So after I recovered from that, I broke the windows out of his new car. And he knew that I did that. He said, you damaged the car again, didn't you? After your father did that to you. And I said, yeah, how do you know that? He says, it's a pattern with you. He said, when someone hurts you, you immediately want to hurt them back. And I thought about that, and I said, you know, he's fucking right. If you hurt me, that's my go-to. I hurt you back. If you say, go fuck yourself, I say, go fuck yourself twice. You know, and we talked about that. And he explained to me where that comes from. You know, it comes from that childhood anger. And he was right. And one of the things that he pointed out to me is I refused to let the people who love me love me. And it was because my father taught me that I wasn't worthy of love. I didn't deserve to be loved. And that's what I was taught from the time I was a child, and all that time in prison hiding behind that suit. Just knowing that today's going to be the day when people are going to find me out and I'm going to get stabbed again. I never allowed anyone to get close to me. I didn't allow anyone to love me. And I never, ever loved anyone. I didn't even know what that meant. You know, it's a word. You know, it's a word, love. Okay, but what is it? If you've never experienced it, it's just a word, right? It's like, you know, you're going to burn yourself, but if you've never been burnt, it's just a word. Until you burn yourself, you're like, oh, fuck, okay, so that's what it means to burn yourself, right? So I would not, could not allow anyone to love me. And that was my biggest problem. That was the biggest, the most immense holdup to my whole life, was the fact that I would not accept the love from the people who love me. And when that understanding came to me, P, it was like a switch went on in my head. It was like there was it's like the world shifted. And all of a sudden, everything was brighter. I actually feel alive. First time, I feel like a human being. I feel like I can love and be loved. I feel like I deserve to be loved.
We have to quit even though you don't have a curfew. Why don't you have a curfew tonight? The only one night of your entire outside life?
Because I had to have an MRI today, and they had to cut that fucking bracelet off me for the MRI, and I let the battery die. So no one knows where I'm at.
That must feel different.
Feels amazing. If the bike wasn't broke, I'd head for fucking Tijuana or something.
Thank God. Let's sign off.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the stories of Mad Dog Sully. See you next week.
Oh, we have a new email address. It is timethepodcast@gmail.com.
Yay! Email. I told you there'd be a fucking link. I knew there'd be a link someday.
That's not a link.
There it is. Well,
That's not a link.
I know, but still.
But yeah, we're getting closer. It's
for
the
Neanderthal.
closest thing we've had to a link so far. Timethepodcast@gmail.com. And thanks for listening.
Timethepodcast@gmail.com.
Can you remember it?
I can remember it, yeah. That's easy.
Okay.
Right?
Don't do the time if you can't do the what?
Don't do the crime
God
if you
damn
can't
it.
do the time.
I shouldn't have had this.
Yes, and believe me, you can't do the time, so don't do the crime. Crime really does not pay. I don't know all of my criminal friends, I don't know any of them that's got a lot of money, so crime doesn't pay as far as I can tell. So don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
And don't ride really powerful motorcycles in New York City.
It's okay.
Where there's a lot of cars that
yeah, just be aware that somebody's going to swat you like a fly.
I hope you get better soon, boss.
Thank you. I will.
Not mine this time.
Not your beer. Not my beer.
That's cute, right? That beer you're drinking.
Yeah, it's a cute beer because it's small.
Yeah.
It's a pony.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a cocktail.
Yeah. Patron and what?
It's a secret.
It's a secret. All right. It's Patron's secret. A sacred secret of Patron.
I'm too embarrassed to say that out loud. It's a very white trash drink. You can take the girl out of the trailer park. You can't take the trailer park out of the girl. That's my drink.